Iran appears to be ramping up a war-fighting strategy built around survivable, fast-launch missile operations that can complicate US and Israeli targeting cycles. Iran's shift towards solid fuel systems suggests Tehran wants missiles that can be launched quickly, from dispersed positions, against US and Israeli targets. That rapid launch capability is helping Iran can keep the upper hand in an attritional exchange, especially if it can regenerate strikes faster than its enemies can suppress launches. If there is an Iranian trump card here, it may be this combination of mobility, shorter launch timelines, and sustained missile pressure, all unfolding as Trump says diplomacy remains possible.
We negotiate with bombs. You have a choice as we loiter over the top of Tehran, as the president talked about your future. The president has made it clear that you will not have a nuclear weapon. The War Department agrees.
Iran has confirmed that it used Zolfaghar solid-fuel ballistic missiles in the later waves of Operation True Promise 4, according to IRGC-linked reporting. IRGC statements cited by Defense Security Asia indicate the Zolfaghar was used in Wave 76 and 77 of the campaign. Those statements said the missile was employed against multiple targets, including US military facilities in the Gulf region. Analysts describe that choice as part of a sustained attrition strategy designed to keep pressure on regional bases over time rather than rely only on one-off salvos. The emphasis on solid fuel systems suggests Iran is prioritizing survivable launch architecture and shorter decision-to-fire timelines under wartime pressure. Rapid launch systems can support repeated strike cycles even while adversaries are trying to find and destroy launch units. That in turn allows the IRGC to conduct dispersed firing operations with relatively limited preparation compared with more cumbersome liquid fuel systems. The transition points to an Iranian posture built for prolonged conflict and a more sustainable operational model. That matters because the US and Israel have continued to target missile launch platforms and related infrastructure used by the IRGC. Zolfaghar is an Iranian solid-fuel short-range ballistic missile, or SRBM. It is widely described as a derivative of the Fateh missile family. The missile entered service around 2017 after being unveiled in 2016. Zolfaghar is road-mobile and designed for relatively quick launch from transporter-erector-launcher platforms. Its baseline range is generally reported at about 700 kilometers, while extended family variants reach around 1,000 kilometers. The warhead is commonly estimated at roughly 450 to 600 kilograms. It can carry either unitary high-explosive payload or submunitions, including cluster-type payload options. The Zolfaghar is also reported to use a separable warhead that detaches during the mid-course phase of flight. That design can make interception more difficult by changing the target profile and reducing the predictability of the radar track. Defense Security Asia said the missile's estimated accuracy is roughly 100 meters circular error probable. Solid fuel missiles also simplify logistics because they can be operated with smaller support convoys and less visible launch preparation. IRGC-linked reporting says Zolfaghar missiles were used against Victoria Base near Baghdad International Airport. The US 5th Fleet headquarters in Bahrain was also listed among the targets in the same statements. The IRGC also identified facilities in Saudi Arabia, including Prince Sultan-related targets, among the sites struck. Defense Security Asia reported that Zolfaghar missiles were also fired at several air bases in Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Kuwait. Meanwhile, President Donald Trump reiterated on March 24 that he believed negotiations with Iran were underway and insisted a deal remained possible.
Are you going to send Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff to do direct negotiations with the Iranians?
Yeah, well, we're in negotiations, as it turned out, and now you've seen what I said yesterday was exactly correct. We're in negotiations right now. They're doing it along with Marco, JD. We have a number of people doing it, and the other side, I can tell you, they'd like to make a deal. And who wouldn't if you were there? Look, their Navy's gone, their Air Force is gone, their communications are gone. That's the biggest problem. It's very hard to communicate them between themselves. All of the anti-aircraft is gone. Most of their missiles are gone. We either shot them or they shot them and don't have them anymore. They're down to a trickle. They're pretty much everything they have is gone. I don't know. Can you name one thing that's not gone, or can you name one thing that's doing well? Electric generation plant, one of the biggest in the world, and one shot to the right location ends the plant, it collapses. And we held off based on the fact that we're negotiating. Yeah.
What do you think was the turning point to make you want to pursue a ceasefire? A few days ago, you said you wanted to continue bombing Iran. Now you want to pursue peace talks. Was there something that happened?
The fact that they're talking to us and they're talking sense. And remember, it all starts with they cannot have a nuclear weapon. Just, I said yesterday, they said, what are the top 10? I said, well, number 1, 2, and 3 is they can't have a nuclear weapon. And they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. And we're talking about that. And I don't want to say in advance, but they've agreed they will never have a nuclear weapon. They've agreed to that. Pete, do you want to give about a 3-minute statement on how we're doing in this, as I call it, military operation? People don't like me using the word war, so I won't. But the Democrats go to war. How about a little statement? I think he's done a very good job. Do we agree he's done a good job, Mark White? Can we take some of your time?
Well, thank you, Mr. President. You're spot on. Never in history has a modern military, Iran had a modern military, a modern navy, a modern air force, modern air defenses, leadership, massive bunker. Never has a modern military been so rapidly and historically obliterated, defeated from day one with overwhelming firepower. The air campaign that we've conducted, that Israel's conducted alongside us, was one for the history books, truly. And it's because we have a president of the United States that when he sends his warfighters out to fight, he unties their hands to actually go out and close with and destroy the enemy as viciously as possible from moment one. And that's why we see ourselves as part of this negotiation as well. We negotiate with bombs. You have a choice as we loiter over the top of Tehran, as the president talked about your future. The president has made it clear that you will not have a nuclear weapon. The War Department agrees. Our job is to ensure that. And so we're keeping our hand on that throttle as long as hard as is necessary to ensure the interests of the United States of America are achieved on that battlefield. This is not Iraq and Afghanistan. This is not a president who's interested in vague end states. He's been very clear with us about what we need to accomplish, creating the conditions for them never to have a nuclear capability. And that's exactly what we're doing in historic fashion. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Appreciate it. The only two people that were quite disappointed, I don't want to say this, but I have to. I said, Pete and General Raisin Kane, I think this thing's going to be settled very soon. Here they go. Oh, that's too bad. Pete didn't want it to be settled. It's these guys are doing a great job. That's a good attitude, though, Tom, right? They were not interested in settlement. They were interested in just winning this thing.